All right, everybody, welcome back to the shop for more F4u Corsair build in action. I got the other gear door done. I'm going to leave pics in the beginning of this video and show you the hinges because my video didn't come out that well for it. So I kind of cut it out of the last video of me hinging it. But the hinges are on the outside. I cut them down a little bit right here. They're recessed in because I used 1/8" balsa sheeting for here. And that's why I didn't use the 16th, is because I wanted to recess the hinges in. On the inside, the hinges you'll see in the pics are just glued right to the side of that wood there. But you can see it in the pics, and they open farther. I mean, they open quite a ways. Trying to think what else it was. When I said take a little bit off at the end of these, you know, to make this a little bit shorter, I end up adding a little bit back on from the curved piece that was already made for back here because it was like too far. So if anything, cut them to length and then sand them to where you want, because they're gonna be, you know, they might be a little crooked. So that might have what happened when I sanded them, but they fit. The fronts are bowed up a little bit, as you can see, but I think that's where the pull down on it's gonna go, because the gear's gonna be there and it'll pull down and then it'll set flush. But they look pretty good. I wanted to cut this out. I transferred the lines from this side to this side, which wasn't really that easy. I measured back to this point, measured back to this point, measured back to this point, and then I set a square on there, measured down, and tried to trace it to the other side. I want to take my saw and cut this, but I can only cut down to the top line. Here's my pencil. I'll use this. I can only cut down to here. I don't know how good that's showing up. I don't, you know, that other angle there, I kind of had probably cut with a knife. This one, but this one here, I should be able to cut with the saw. So, but like this one and this one, which I think I'm only going through 1/8" balsa anyways. So let's get started and see what we can do. That's not the right angle. See what I do with my pencil. There it is. Okay, got that notched out. Now I need to, because this is solid, pretty solid on the bottom. I mean, I can bring it down so it's flush with it on both sides. But there's a little gap here, back here, and a little gap up here. You can see, okay. So that's got to get filled, and then this back here's got to get filled, because I want to leave that, you know, solid. Of course, on the Rcplane it's open, but this door, this would be a door too, because this would open on the Rcplane for the tail hook to come down. But I'm not gonna go that detail. I might put a panel line in there for it to make it look like it was a door. So now I gotta fill this. So I gotta find some wood to fill this. Just use some scrap wood. Let's see how I want to do this. getting closer. This balsa sand's pretty dang easy, so I mean you can take more. I should say some of it does, because I remember this is over a year old now. Balsa, it's been in here. Like these rails, these quarter by quarters I used on here, they were pretty hard. When I put these blocks underneath these, I didn't say, but that was actually bass. I put bass sticks across here for these to screw into, and then I hardened them with, put the screw in it, bring it back out, CA'd it, let it set, and then screwed it again to make my threads on it. I forget sometimes to tell what I'm doing, and so I'm sanding the corners a little bit because there's actually CA in there, and I know I'm not going to be able to get that out. So I'm just trying to get it to fit close enough that I can maybe take a Dremel or a sanding block and sand it. You see, I'd be careful because the balsa doesn't take much. And tape it a little bit on the back side and on the sides for where the CA is, so I don't have to chip it out, so it fits in there a little nicer. It's getting a lot closer. It's still, I got a little bit too much on there, but I can hand sand that with a little, with not the 80. So I'm pretty happy with where it's at for now. So now I'll take some medium CA and stick in there. And see if I can glue this in there. I'll probably take some wood filler and fill it. The reason why I didn't use like fiberglass or body filler or anything, because I want it pretty light, so I want to use as little as possible. There's that little block of wood here, so it'll kind of work a lot better. Okay, it's working a lot nicer. lot better. There's a little tiny hole here, a little there. I can fill that with wood filler. But for the most part, I'm happy with that. So I gotta fill back here. So what I did there was put some sawdust in there, some of the extra sawdust from the side, stuck it in there and hit it with CA. Wood filler just faster, because I was worried about sanding too much of that off anyways. That way it hardened it. So makes it harder to sand, but then you're not going to go too far with it. I'm trying to check to make sure I didn't glue this block in here. Which kind of feels like I did. Like a little bit. Up here in the front I did. That's not what I wanted. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. I broke a chunk of it off because it was glued, so I'll just have to glue it back on. Yeah, so if you break it, it's not that really a big, it's wood. You can glue it back on. Even I break it too, so it's not that really that big a deal. I'm not perfect, so, but just glue it back and sand it. Like this here is hard now because that's all CA glue on there. It'll sand a lot easier. You don't have to worry about breaking it now. And one thing about balsa, it'll seep a lot farther than you ever expect it to. I mean, it could seep from here all the way down, and you don't know. It'll seep far. And that's probably what happened. It might have been from when I did these hinges. It might have just ran down and seeped down in here. I don't know. But I want this removable though. So that's that. That part's done. I didn't get the stuff for doing to make these doors. I think I'm gonna do it spring loaded. Put springs in there. So the springs will pull the doors back down, or the wire will pull the doors back down, and the springs will push them up when the gear comes up. A spring will push them up, and I don't have none of that. I have to get that, so that's as far as I'm gonna go on that part of it for now. I'm probably gonna mount. I need to mount the tail wheel back in, and then so I can cut out the hole for the wheel. So that's what I'm gonna do next. So I'll be back when I get the tail wheel mounted. I don't think you need to watch me do that. All right, so the tail wheel is mounted. I got all 4 screws in it. I don't have the pole hooked up. I don't need that hooked up because this is gear spring loaded anyways. So now I need to mark out the gear doors. So I gotta be able to get around here. So I think I'm gonna pull these off, at least this side. So I can get in here a little closer. So I'll find like the center where I think is center on both sides. Fold these down. It's probably gonna come back to about here. I'm just gonna try to mark it on the wheel where I think it's gonna hit, which it isn't marking, so I might have to grab a pen. I got a silver paint marker. So I mark there. Mark there. Get the paint back off my ruler. So now I got those lines back there in the back and the front, and I'm going to stay in on both sides a little bit farther because I can always sand out to them. But I don't want to take too much. Okay, so now I have that. Now I want to measure this way. Which is about 10. 13. 13. Okay. So now I'll measure from this over. So I have that on there. I just freehanded it. And so now I'm going to pull the pins on the hinges. Which is what I like about them. They're pretty easy to get out. And I'll probably just take a draw knife and cut that out. If you notice, I did, even though it was down here, I went straight across because then I can always sand it back. I'm going to save this piece because I might come back and glue this piece in here to stiffen this up a little bit because it's probably going to weaken it a little bit. So now I think I'm going to take my Dremel and clean this up a little bit. So I still have my lines on there because I don't want to make sure I don't go too far. So, which it does not look like I did. See, because it still won't go down, all the way down. So I'm gonna take my pencil. That back line looks pretty dang good, but this one back here needs to come more. So I'm gonna come back more. And it looks like I do need to come down to the other line like I had planned. So I need to come up here a little bit more and down to this line like I did plan, and then no. So there we go. Set it in the hinges. And it's still not enough, which is good. I didn't go too far. So I'm gonna come back a little bit farther towards that back one. Get a little bit more off of here, a little bit more off the front. So went a little bit farther. It's almost there, not quite. So now it's closing all the way, but it is touching the wheel. So I need to take this right here more off the back. So, and I actually tapered it a little bit because the wheel, you know, is tapered. That right there, I would call a success. So, I want to glue, I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to glue it in here to stiffen that up a little bit. Maybe I'll just grab a different piece and go a little longer back behind it there. So I ground a little bit of it. The piece, I went from this rib to that rib just to strengthen it. I decided to go longer and I rounded a little bit right there, or tapered it so to make sure it didn't hit the wheel. So you can see it. This one hinge has got a little catch on it I gotta take off. But there you go. There's one side. Now I gotta do the other side. I'll probably do that side off camera and I'll show you when I'm all done. So there it is. Both sides are the same. They're cut in. The tail wheel can move around a little bit. They both got the bracing in there. Like I say, I think on when I do the pull, because it's going to pull down right here, and then that'll bring these doors back down. And so that's done. This is cut and put in there. You know, there's a little bit of sanding to do on this block. You know, these little pieces are sticking up, but you can just pull them off. But anyways, so that part's done. I just gotta get the mechanism to do the inside. For the wire to go down, I have the wire, but I don't think I have crimps. And then I gotta get figure out my springs and stuff and everything for the springs to push them back up. So I think next time we gotta get onto the rudder and get this rudder mounted, permanently mounted, and wood glued in, and get that all set up. So then the rudder's done. I don't know if I mentioned last time, but I sanded this side. I might have mentioned it, but I got this side all sanded so it matches the other side. Got the elevator all sanded so it matches the other side. So yeah, we gotta get I didn't do an ending here. yeah, we gotta get this mounted back on here. Wrong way. This has to get mounted on there anyways, and I still had to get that fill piece in here that matches the rudder. There's a piece that you glued on here with the taper in the back. I had it. I have to find it. And I gotta clean this shop up. Get this place cleaned up. It's pretty dirty in here, you can tell. And so I'll see you guys next time. Please comment, like, subscribe if you would like to, please. It helps me out, gets me motivated to do it more. We're up to 350 subscribers so far. Might not seem like a lot to a lot of other people, but it means a lot to me. And it means a lot to my wife too, because she's kind of part of the channel now too. So appreciate it. Thanks, guys.